Very famous. He did a design for the Freedom Tower as well. And he was actually fired by Yamasaki for suggesting that there should be passageways between the two towers in case there was a fire or something that might happen. And Yamasaki fired him on the spot for suggesting these because he wanted his Twin Tower symbolism. He wanted the vibration of that 11 symbol. And he had designed the two towers to be a little taller than the other because of the Rockefeller brothers' height difference. Because of the Rockefeller brothers' height difference.
And we're very powerful. This country is very powerful. Let me tell you, it's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody, not even close. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. More powerful than anybody not even close. Not even close. Not even close.
Secretary, can I ask you a question about some of the technology that you're developing to fight the war on terror, specifically directed energy and high-powered microwave technology? When do you envision that you can weaponize that type of technology?
Goodness. It is in, for the most part, the kinds of things you're talking about are in varying early stages. Do you have anything you'd add?
I don't think I would add much.
In the normal order of things, when you invest in research and development and begin a developmental project, you don't have any intention or expectations that one would use it. On the other hand, the real world intervenes from time to time, and you reach in there and take something out that is still in a developmental stage, and you might use it. So your question's not answerable. It depends on what happens in the future and how well things move along the track, and whether or not someone feels it's appropriate to reach into a development stage and see if something might be useful, as was the case with the unmanned aerial vehicles.
But you sound like you're willing to experiment with it.
I think that's the point, and I think, we have, I think, from the beginning of this conflict, I think General Franks has been very open to looking at new things if there are new things available, and has been willing to put them into the fight even before they've been fully wrung out. And I think that's not referring to these two particular cases of directed energy or high-powered microwave, but sure.
But sure.
I call it dustification.
I'm all in on the dustification. I'm actually disappointed in myself as a tinfoil hat nut job for never really wandering down that pathway of conspiracy theory.
Now we're going to talk about dustification and lather. You'll notice I use a unique language. If you don't know what the phenomenon is, and you use the name of a known phenomenon, that's wrong. You're misleading the direction the information is going in. You're calling something like fire when it's not fire. That's why I use the word fumes, because if you use smoke, you're assuming the cause to be fire. If you don't know what the phenomenon is, better not use a name of a known phenomenon. Well, what happened to these buildings? That's a phenomenon we've never seen before. It needs a new name. I call it dustification. So you see it's turning to dust as it comes down.
I was drafted into the New Zealand Army. I topped every course during my officer's training preparation for Vietnam. I was taught how to bring down the Twin Towers using nothing but infrasound.
Really?
We were made to study the experiments by the Russians, the Americans, and the British in the late 50s.
In the late 50s?
Late 50s. This was mid-60s when I was in the military. But here were these joint maneuvers being undertaken in the late 50s by these three superpowers then in the Eastern Bloc, bringing down 25-story buildings using nothing but sound wave, infrasound.
Good heavens.
And I did discuss this recent years with a Professor Francie, who remarked, and don't, this, that, and the other thing with respect to that 9/11 fast that we saw. And of course, we all know that Michael Meacher, who was a cabinet minister, was removed from office because he publicized the fact that he had read word for word what was to happen to the Twin Towers 3 years before the event.
3 years before the event?
3 years before the event. It was a well-planned thing. It was a well-known thing as a civil and structural engineer, and I have teaching instruments, postgraduate universities, polytechs around the world. And then we were told there was to be this screening of this bit of footage showing the plane actually striking the face, and I made a point of seeing it. I sat in front of the television, I saw the plane strike, and I put my head in my hands and I said, "Oh, you bastards, you bloody did it all right." Talk about some Muslims taking over planes, etc. Forget it. I couldn't establish and prove that with the first Twin Towers building, but certainly with the second. And what I saw was as the plane struck, or the hologram presentation of a plane when it was really a pod that struck, was that the actual structure, the material making up the external skin, each section weighing around 40 tons, it behaved exactly the way it should have done had it been influenced by infrasound, which is what I witnessed with the training that I was doing in the mid-60s, watching what the Brits, the Russians, and the Americans had been doing in Eastern Europe back in the late 50s. So I don't believe much of what is 9/11.
And we saw the plane on the other side of the building, and there was smoke everywhere, and people were jumping out the windows.
Much of what is 9/11. So I don't believe much of what is 9/11.
Block about a quarter-mile from the World Trade Center. You can see that the buildings here are all intact. The pillars are still there. The windows all in place. Moving over, you've got another car they moved here. Looks like it's been through a war. You can see the papers, all the burned out papers from the building. You can see the papers, all the burned out papers from the building. Papers, all the